Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. Our show today is a woman's prerogative. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I am the founder and the president and chief listening officer here at our network, where we currently have 29 live shows. This show, our topic is When I Travel, I Like to fill in the blank. So we don't have our entire panel here today. A number of our team members are traveling, but we do have Jenetta Barry, who is up until the crack of midnight, so to speak. She's joining us from Kenya, from East Africa. Let's welcome her, Jenetta Barry, and the Epiphany Process. Hello.
Hello. I've got my witch's hat on. It's nearly midnight, so it's bubble, bubble, toil and trouble.
Woo, I love it. And Jenetta has 4 shows on Wednesdays, which is amazing. I think that is a record, actually. It is you hold the record because Roland's shows are not all on the same day. So, but we also have another team member who was here, then wasn't here, and is back. So I feel like she's traveled the whole world. It's MARISKA Dupree. She's joining us from New Zealand, and she's wide awake. Hello there.
Hello. For some odd reason, my technology decided that it's going to make my life interesting this morning. So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I looked and you weren't there. I was like, oh, it's Jenetta and I. This is okay. So for people who are joining us for the first time and they're like, oh, who is Jenetta and who is MARISKA? I'd like to spotlight you and share whatever it is you want to share about yourself and your work or your life, whatever it is that is calling to you right now. I'll start with Jenetta.
Oh, wow. My work and my life. My life purpose and my legacy is folding out as I sit here with you right now, being part of USA Global TV and being able to so often showcase that legacy and build that legacy and bring USA Global TV into that legacy too is what I'm all about. And there are 3 parts to that legacy. The one is the Epiphany process, which is a process that I researched and studied after I lost my 16-year-old daughter Jenny to suicide after she and I argued. And I had to get through it accurately, and I did. And from that process, I've helped people all around the world online for 14, 15 years now. And from that has come 2 nonprofits. The one is Insight Theatrical Production, which is a 2-act production with contemporary dance, voiceover, and visuals. And the other one is World Jenny's Day, because we realized she had died on World Mental Health Day. So we now have World Jenny's Day, where we use performing arts, theatre, and so on to soften and normalize conversations around depression and suicide. So that's why I'm here on this platform, essentially, is my greatest life test has given me my life purpose that I had spent all my years looking for. So although it's been bittersweet, in its happening, it's opened my heart and many other people's hearts as well.
Thank you, Jenetta. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Let's go over to MARISKA and hear what she has to say.
Well, let's see where to start. Jenetta, you are a tough act to follow. So for me, I have started off as an engineer initially and worked my way through organizational leadership And at present, because we never know where our journey might take us, I'm helping other engineers or people within specializations to move into leadership positions, as well as leaders that's already in leadership positions to move up within those spaces. So that's what I do career-wise. It's been a little bit of a meandering to get me here, although I feel that taking the next step and taking the next step always get me to where I'm supposed to be, even though I might not always know where I'm supposed to be. So that has been my approach so far. And on those steps, I, of course, met Dr. JACALYN while we were both studying coaching. And she started this wonderful platform, which we are now all enjoying. And I continue to work with her. And currently, I'm so excited about this. We are writing a series of children's books to help children learn how to listen. And we are busy with book number 2. And there's so much fun stuff happening in it. I can't wait for the rest of the world to actually see and share in what we are creating. And that is me.
Ah, it's so nice to see you beaming, Mariska. I love it. So today's topic is when I travel, I like to. So who wants to start? Just share something. You don't have to go in deep. We can just start light and then dive right in.
I like to sleep on planes.
Okay. So does that mean you'll get the window seat, or do you like to put your head on the person next to you?
So if I travel with my husband, I normally take the seat next to him and he takes the aisle seat. So if there's somebody at the window seat, well, I miss out. If there's not, well, yay for me. If I travel on my own, interestingly enough, I enjoy the aisle seat. So yeah, but I still love to sleep on the plane, and I really do sympathize with everybody else that is next to me.
Are you a snorer?
Well, not that I notice, but my husband do have a tendency to need to turn me at night in order for him to get some rest in.
I love it.
It sounds like you're something under the grill.
Yeah, she's in the oven turning.
Yeah.
So I also like to sit in the aisle. I used to travel a lot. I don't travel really at all, but I would love to sit in the aisle so that I have quick access to get out and I don't have to get over 2 people. So, but Janetta, what about you? Do you like to sleep on planes? I know you're sleeping in the airport, but what about actually?
Yeah. Well, as we were saying before we even got onto the show, yes, I if I'm extremely tired, I find I can really power nap. I've got to be extremely tired though. I can power nap in airport departure places, and I sit there up straight, and it's literally 5 minutes, and I wake up as though I've had a whole night's sleep. But unfortunately, I love sleeping on planes. But here's the thing that plane designers haven't thought about. You're going to laugh because I brought this subject up again. You'd think I have a thing about it, and I don't. But this is another one. The seats are actually designed for tall people in planes, or taller people. So the headrest is up here, and it doesn't take my neck. So if I've got one of those cushions, then I'm like this, because it's still not being accommodated. So I can't sleep with a cushion. And if I put my head back, my neck isn't. And by the time I've come on a 12 or 14 or however long, 24, I don't know how long it is, my poor neck, even my fingers, these 2 fingers go numb. So I'd love to sleep on planes, and I do, but it's in fits and starts as I sit there going. So I don't know what they can do about it, but calling all aircraft designers, hello.
That's so funny. Now, are either one of you sleeping at the gate and you're sleeping across the seats? I know, Janetta, you're sleeping sitting up, but do you ever like say, hey, I'm so tired, I'm just going to take 3 seats and I'm going to just pass out?
At the gate or in the airplane?
At the gate.
Yeah, I've done that. But now they often make seats where they make permanent arms between the three nuts.
No. Wow.
Yes. And you know what I try and do? I pray that the flight is half full or half empty, whichever one you want it to be, because it's both. And I then I try and take the seat right at the back wall where the toilets and everything are, just in case it is half empty. And not many people like those seats, so I'm almost guaranteed I can put the armrest on and sleep on that.
Oh
flight.
My gosh! I have really no judgment, but I don't want to ever sit in those seats. You can have them if you and I are on the same flight. They are yours.
Oh, mwah, thank you. But it does mean I can lie down and then I don't sit there going, oh my gosh, my neck.
But then you hear the toilet flushing the whole time.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I'd much rather sleep flat than upright without a toilet flushing.
How about you, Mariska?
I'll take toilet.
It's interesting, Janetta. Me and you will have a bit of a fist fight for that seat because I also like it. And the reason I like it is because there's nobody at my back, so I can put my seat back whenever I want. I don't have to worry about inconveniencing anyone else, right?
And somebody kicking your back seat as well. You know, you're sitting there. Oh my God! There we go.
Yeah. So yes, I actually enjoy those seats. They're quite good. As for sleeping in the airport, I only ever had that once. I had a layover of about 8 hours. And the flight started in New Zealand at 9. We landed in, I think it was in Sydney or in Brisbane, somewhere in Australia. And the layover was there. So it was already night for me. And we had a long layover. And I was so scared of missing my connecting flight, the next one. So I did try to sleep, but it was, 1, very uncomfortable. 2, I didn't really sleep. Because I was like, okay, I need to wake up so I don't miss the flight. And then I look at my watch, like 10 minutes, really? So yeah, not the best experience. I did take a few seats, but there wasn't anybody else in the airport at that point. So it was all good.
Well, here's one that really I was so impressed with. Remember when I was traveling at the beginning of this year, Dr. Jacalyn, and I came through to Kenya and then down to my family who've all settled in South Africa. And on my way back, I had to leave at something like 1 a.m. from Johannesburg up to Nairobi. And then I was in transit in Nairobi back to London. And when I got to Nairobi, I was very, very tired because I had been traveling from early that morning from the bush where Neil was situated. So I'd been up and about since about 4 a.m. and then I'd taken a 1 a.m. the next morning and then so it had been over 24 hours since I'd slept. And when I got to Nairobi airport, there's a certain section, they're not padded, but they're metal reclining seats. So you can lie down there and my poor neck gets all that it needs. And I set my phone and I laid there for 20 minutes going, oh, this is wonderful. And I was able to get on the plane to London going, it doesn't matter if I don't sleep, at least I've had some. So that was very impressive. If all the airports could do that, it would make a big difference because your feet are up and it's like a beach recliner in metal.
Wow. You know what I'm taking away from this? That there's no interest in really traveling and seeing something. It's all about sleeping in the airport on the plane.
I'm talking about night flights. If it's a day flight and then I like window seats going, oh, what's that? And terrain's changed. But night flights.
Now, what about when you get to where you're going? I mean, one thing that I like to do is, it's going to sound really ridiculous, but I like to work out. I have to work out every day. There has to be some kind of workout, and I like it because it's in a new place.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of you two are really into that. I can see.
I can do a ballet class. Do you want to join me? I think it depends where I'm going. You know, if I'm going on holiday or if I'm going on business, and where I'm going to is what I decide. It could be to family, then I know what's decided. It all depends where I'm going and what I'm doing. So
Yeah,
I
see,
have
for
a set
me,
routine.
it doesn't matter where I'm going. I have to work out. Like, that is just part of the whole thing. So I also like to, and again, I'm going back to pre-pandemic, but I would love to go to a really good restaurant. Just sit there by myself. I used to take my iPad. I'd watch movies. I was that person. But I would love to do that when I traveled.
Yeah, it's a nice
Dr.
one.
JACALYN, I think the thing that I enjoy when I travel is exploring, because it's new, right? Everything is new. There's new places to go and have a look, what to eat. There's new little nooks and crannies to explore. So yeah, I think for me, one of the first things that I would do after unpacking and making sure that at least I have a comfortable place to come back to is to explore and go and have a look at what's out there, what I can maybe possibly be doing. So normally for me, when I travel, there's some stuff that's planned, but then there's also periods where I have like spaces that's intentionally not planned in order for me to can go and explore and have a look at. Because I mean, yeah, you get a whole bunch of stuff on the internet, but there's also a whole bunch of stuff that you don't get. So,
Yeah,
and that's
very
always
true.
interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, you're both in relationships, and so I'm sure you travel with your fiance, your husband, not you all together, but what about when you're traveling alone?
Ooh, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no different whether I'm with Andy or not. It's the same thing. Probably actually because of Andy and having gone through leukemia, we probably would have to take it a little easy as we arrived somewhere. And if I was on my own, I'd be out exploring sooner rather than later. That would probably be the only difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
prefer to travel by myself because I've been alone for a long time, I guess. And I have traveled with other people, and then you have to make accommodations for what they want to do and how long it takes for them to get ready, and they can't do this and they won't do that. And before you know it, it's like, why am I on this trip with you? When I got divorced, I think I shared this, 1999, I went to Paris by myself for 10 days, and I stayed at the Ritz where Princess Diana was. And yeah, it was pretty amazing. And I met a lot of really interesting people because I went out by myself every night for dinner, and I didn't let that deter me. And I had a great time.
I think that sounds what I would do if I'd got divorced too. It would have been my scene. I mean, I've done many things on my own. I have to share this with you. This is one of my most interesting times of traveling in terms of weird. I was invited by a client of mine to attend Ascot, Royal Ascot racing. And so I was in Kenya, and I booked my flight to come to London for Royal Ascot to stay with my nephew in Marylebone. And I commissioned a young girl here who makes the most beautiful hats. and she and I came up with a wildlife conservation hat. It was all full of symbols. It had guinea fowl feathers. It was really beautiful, but it was big, you know. It wasn't a small hat, and I didn't have a hat box that could fit into. So I went and bought this enormous blue bucket, plastic bucket. And I traveled, you know, will travel, have bucket, will travel. And I went via Turkey. So I get on this plane from Nairobi to Turkey, and everybody's looking at me sideways. And well, before I get onto it, and they say, no, this lady is VIP. This is a VIP piece of cargo. And I would go in every one of the flights I had, and lucky hat, I would book the hat into first class cupboarding in the cupboards in first class, and then go and sit in economy, and then collect my and I'm walking through all of the places in Turkey airport, in Istanbul airport, and then I get to Heathrow, and you know, do you have my hat box, please? I mean, my blue bucket. And going back, I went BA, I think it was, and you know, there was this tiny little bronze bullet for conservation and poaching. It was this size, you know, and they've got they're having a look at it under, you know, is this really a bullet? I said, it's this size. Anyway, once they got the idea of what it was, then it became a VIP bucket again, and everybody was saying, clear the way, this is for conservation.
That is a classic story. It really is. I love it. I am going to step away because I want to get something to show you on the show. So I'll be right back. While I'm gone, Mariska, why don't you share something with our audience?
Well, let's see. Most interesting travel thing I think that happened for me was we went to a game reserve in South Africa. Now, there's all sorts of animals in South Africa and all sorts of birds in South Africa, but we don't always look so much at the bugs. And this time when we got into the place, we were unpacking, and in the bathroom on the vanity, there's this little jewel. But I wasn't sure whether it's a little jewel or, you know, one of those little stickers that the kids get with the sparkly bits in it. It looked like that. And I looked at this and I said to my husband, come look, there's a cute little sticker that a kid maybe lost. And he came to have a look, and all of a sudden the sticker started moving. And it was actually a live bug. So we did a bit of a search, and it's a type of ladybug apparently. But it is so beautiful, and it really looked like it was a sticker or a little jewel and not a live thing at all. So yeah.
Wow.
Not a VIP bucket, but definitely very unique bug.
These are good stories. I have one also. I was traveling for personal. I was going to see my mother in Florida, and I had my carry-on bag, and I put it through the thing, and they immediately pulled the bag, and they asked me to step out of line, and they called over a couple of people, and they told me I had to, you know, stand aside. So they went through the bag, and they found something, and they said that I had a weapon, and that they were going to have to call, you know, the police or whatever. So I said, a weapon? What are you talking about? And they're like, you have this something in your suitcase. So I'm going to show you what it is. So it was this handbag. Can you see it?
Oh, yes. Knuckle
I
duster.
see why they see it as a weapon.
So I said, Are you kidding me? Do you know this is an Alexander McQueen limited edition bag? And they said that it looked like, what are these things called?
Yeah, it's a knuckle
Knuckle duster.
Yeah, we
Knuckle
call it something.
duster.
So they were touching the bag, like, do not touch the bag. Okay, go get the police, whatever. Don't touch this bag. This bag was a gift. It was very special. So meanwhile, TikTok, I still have to find out what I'm going to do. So they said that this is classified as a weapon and I could not take it on the plane, so that I had to check it. Well, I couldn't check the suitcase because it had a lot of valuables in it. So I had to go buy a suitcase to put this in, and then I had to buy stuff to put in with this, so it wasn't flying. It was in its dust bag, so it wasn't flying all over the place. And then I had to go downstairs and I had to check the bag. I had to get in line and check the bag so it could be ticketed through. It was unbelievable. So I have never traveled with that bag again ever on a plane. Of course,
and when you're at a really prestigious evening, you don't go to anybody and go, "This is my bag."
No, I don't.
Like Ma Baker.
What I love about this bag, can you see the top of it? The jewels, it's a skull.
Wow.
What I love about this bag when I was going places and doing things is you don't ever have to worry about putting your bag down because you have your bag the whole time.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know, if it goes missing, you know where to look, because I kind of think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a gift from a guy I dated, and he did not want to buy it. Trust me. He was like, it's ridiculous, but I absolutely love it. It's classic. It's like something you can put in a dining room. What's that called? Where you put the dishes?
Yes.
Yeah, display cabinet.
Dresser. Yeah.
It's a display cabinet. Yeah, exactly. I actually have things like that in bed.
I tell you what, I can show you my designer bucket if you like now.
Yeah,
I've got it. I found that.
I'll take you off for a second while you go get it. Okay. Is she going to get it?
Her blue bucket?
She's a picture of it. Okay, I thought you were going to get it. Let's see what it is.
Woohoo!
I did not think it was going to be that color blue. I don't know why. I thought it would be like a I don't know what the name of it is. Powder blue.
Yeah, because that's more like an aquamarine, isn't it? Now, if I can find a picture of the hat, that would be amazing too. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yes, here it is. Oh, got it. Here we go.
Can't wait to see it.
Here it is. Whoopsie. I'm nearly there.
Yeah, all the screen sharing.
Ta-da!
Wow, look at you.
Wow.
Beautiful. Now, Janetta,
and even that necklace.
Wait, put the bucket up again, please. Did it have to be that big for that hat?
Well, if you look at the hat, the spirals of the porcupine quills go right up to that top flower. So the porcupine quills were depicting the antelopes, and the feathers had been cut to look like spears. It was up here.
I see it now.
Yeah, it's very, very tall. And that necklace was specially designed by a designer here in Kenya. It's garnets and a guinea fowl feather and a beautiful guinea fowl pressed metal, beautiful pressed metal guinea fowl. But here's the other one. I mean, we're really going off topic now, but that dress was given to me bought for me on my birthday, the day that the towers in London burnt down. Remember when near Notting Hill, where this whole block of flats burnt down? That day was my birthday, and we were there hours, just probably 3 hours before they burnt down, and a lot of people were killed and injured in that. But she and I were looking through Notting Hill for a dress for Ascot. I couldn't find one. And I'd looked at all these designer dresses and all this and all that. And finally, I'm meeting my nephew for my birthday in the West End. He's taking me to a special show for my birthday. And we're walking past this really cheap shop, like an Indian store. And this dress was on a hanger for £5. So there you go.
It works. It works so well. And I love the hat. And I know, especially, amazing. It looks very, very delicate. So I can see that you need some volume with your bucket to make sure that the hat travels in style.
So when I travel, my hat and I ...
It's, you know what, it reminds me of, I don't know how often you go shopping in these old sort of places that has all the secondhand stuff. And I've come across quite a few suitcases. Now, they knew how to travel. I mean, you get a suitcase, you open it up, right? You literally have place for all your garments to hang in it. You can put all your little trinkets in there, your cufflinks, there's hat boxes that you can put in certain. They are so beautiful. Not that I would travel with any of those cases these days. I'll be too sorry for it. I will definitely not want the airlines to mishandle the poor thing. But they're really, really beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the old days when people traveled only by boat before there was flight, and you'd have this whole wardrobe case for the ship, and it would get put in your cabin and opened up, and just like that, the array of everything, you know, if you're a man, all your ties and your cufflinks and it's like, wow. That was style, but then of course you had the people and the manpower to get your piece of amazingness into your cabin, and that is the other thing that I do, is I try and travel as light as I can. So like here, I'm in Kenya, I've got all my toiletries and a set of clothes here, and in UK, by way of example, or South Africa, or wherever it is that I go regularly, I have everything there. So, you know, everything is light, because it's just such a pain going with so many suitcases and that level of heaviness. And one of the other things, going back to being on the plane, I have as much as I can, I sit there, and as they're opening the gate to board, I'm either the first one to board or the last one to board. And the reason for that, if you're first one, in you go, suitcase up, sit, and now you watch everybody scrabbling, and if I'm last, everybody's done the scrabbling, and I've just sat in comfort watching them standing in the queues and standing to get through and queuing there, and then queuing to get on wherever onto the plane, and then queuing to put the and it's the same getting off, because at the end of the day, when you're getting off, and you know how everybody gets up and before the plane stops, they're just about standing, and then they wait for 10 minutes for the doors of the plane to open, and then, you know, there's more queues. I'm the last one to get off, you know, with all the geriatrics and everybody in their wheelchairs, and going, hi, everybody, and off I go. And I'm still collecting my luggage with the people who got off half an hour before me.
Yep.
And I've taken it easy, and they've gone, oh, come, let's go. Stand. So it's either first on or first off.
Yes,
Or
I absolutely agree.
Last on, last off. Last on, last off. First on, first. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes
it
work
so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're always like, let's get this over, let's get out of here quickly. And there's no such word as quickly and travel. It doesn't go
No, the
together.
thing is, I mean, they don't prioritize your suitcase before anybody else's suitcase. They will bring all the suitcases when it's time for your suitcase to come. So you can just as well enjoy a nice relaxing seat, watch all the people go by, not worry about standing in lines. So
yeah,
much
exactly.
easier.
And you know who actually taught me that? I've just remembered where, and that's now, gosh, I've been doing this now since about 15 years, and that was Dr. John DeMartini. He taught me that one. He taught me. He laughed at me, and I said, "Oh, you know, standing there," and he said, "Janetta, first on, first off, last on, last off. It's the only way to travel." And he's right.
Yeah, makes life so much easier.
Are you talking about deplaning?
And
Yeah,
on planing and deplaning. Yeah. If I'm first on, easy peasy. If I'm last on, easy peasy. Somewhere in between, queue, scuffle, excuse me, sorry, do you mind? Yeah, there's my seat. Excuse me, yeah, could you just wait? It's like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Plus, Janetta, if you're first on, nobody complains about you standing on the seat to get your stuff up in the cabin. And if you last, you can ask somebody to help you.
Wait, are you standing on the seat, Janetta?
Well,
yes, I still can't reach. I still can't reach.
And nobody will help you?
No, I always ask somebody, or usually somebody comes through and says, "Oh my gosh, poor old lady."
I'll tell you what, that's one of the reasons why for the last 20 plus years, I do a ton of shoulder exercises with weights, because I'd always have to get that bag in the overhead bin, and I never wanted anyone to touch my bag. I used to have a lot of issues about germs. And anyway, I thought to myself, you know, if you don't keep your shoulders strong, you could really pull a rotator cuff or something. So I was always proud about that I'd be like, yes. And then when you go to pull it down, you almost knock somebody out, right? Because you don't have a good hold of it. Let me help you. No, thank you. I don't want your hand in my bag. I just brought some bags into the garage, and I had to Clorox all of them. Because I was like, yeah, they've been in a plane. That's gross.
The best washed bags ever.
Definitely. By the way, we have a comment from Cromwell. Hi, Cromwell. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to be working on a new project together, so that's exciting, and look forward to doing that. And
also, Cromwell's working with World Jenny's Day.
Ah, Cromwell.
Yeah. Actually, Martin. Yeah.
Thanks to Madeline Chan.
Absolutely. And Dr. DESZIREE.
The connections keep on growing. I love it. Absolutely.
There you go.
So, yeah, so we got to some fun things about what we like to do when we travel. I'm sure there's some other things. What's one thing you absolutely do not want to do when you get to where you're going?
Wow.
Get to where I'm going. I'm going to twist that and make it to when I get back. I hate getting back to a house where I have left it in disarray.
Me too.
So I sort of try to plan in packing first, so that's done, right? And then make sure that I can tidy up the place as much as physically possible before I leave, because when I come back, I don't want to see things standing in places that they're not supposed to be. I just want to be able to relax because, one, I have enough washing to do. Thank you so very much. And two, sometimes it feels like we need a bit of a holiday after a travel.
Yeah.
So yes, that would be something for me.
Yeah. I mean, and also, have you noticed when you get back home, suddenly the walls need painting? You know?
Yeah.
Whoa, God, gosh, and that pathway, it needs repaving, and you suddenly see your house in a stranger's eyes. You go, whoa, yeah, no, this house needs a lot of work done to it. So that I've noticed too. I think one of the things in going, I don't like getting somewhere and then stepping off the plane and having to be in a function with a lot of people around me. I like to have time to wind down and do that exploring, as you were saying, Mariska, just to be able to just be me for a few hours rather than off the plane and into a cocktail party or into a dinner party or I think that's one of my big ones. I just like to take a deep breath and balance out and take in my surroundings and then do whatever needs to be done.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree. That is something that I have never had any place where I had to just jump into it after getting off a plane. But I can imagine that I won't like it.
I think when you're on business, it happens a lot, especially when you're with a party of people, a convention or whatever it is. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like one of the cattle going in to be dipped when that happens.
That's a good way of putting it. And what about also when you are traveling with team members, or, it's a business, something or other, and then you are on the plane next to them, and now you have to talk to them, and now you're walking together, now you're going to an event together. I'm like, please do not sit next to me. Please switch seats with someone. I will switch seats with someone because I do not want to talk to you. I've said this before. I don't know if it's on this show, but I can never understand when people, they don't know each other. They're on the plane. They're talking really loud like this because the noise of the jets. And then everyone around can hear their conversation. Then the plane lands and they don't even go to baggage together. One goes, what? And I'm like, really? We had to hear that entire conversation. We could have been sleeping or watching a movie, please. All right. So here's my next question for the two of you. Okay, and I'm going to take it whatever the answer is. I have no judgment. I'm just praying silently. Do you put your suitcase on your bed?
On my bed.
You're packing to leave. You put the suitcase on the bed, yes or no?
It depends where I am. If I like our little flat in Oxford, there's nowhere else but to put my suitcase on the bed. It was a small flat, so yes. But here, no, I would put it elsewhere. Depends on the circumstances.
Janetta, it's sort of a space thing. So if I have space to put it somewhere else, I'll put it somewhere else. If I don't have space and the bed's the only place to put it, then unfortunately on the bed it's going to be. Most probably the bed will also be taken to bits so that I can do the washing for the linen and all the rest of it. So then it doesn't really matter, right? Or I might be leaving the hotel or whatever the case might be.
Here's
so then I'm not too worried about it.
There's sometimes we're not traveling by ourselves. Sometimes little creatures like to get into our suitcase. So just a quick story, which I may have shared or not, but I was traveling and I know exactly where I was. I'm not going to say it. I know what hotel it was. And I came home with some friends, and the friends happened to be quite a number of them. And some of them had blood in them, and they're bed bugs. And so what ended up happening was we had to have the house tented and bombed, and the creatures, so sweet and innocent as they are, they ended up climbing from the bottom where they were, they got into the rugs and everything else. They came out of the suitcase. They ended up climbing up higher, and they went into the paintings, they went into the outlets. It was very, very hard to get rid of them. So I always say to people, don't ever bring the suitcase into your bedroom, because it was a fortune. It was disgusting, and it leaves an impression on you. But you just never know what's getting into that suitcase with you. So for me, I do not ever bring my suitcase. If I can, I would leave them in the garage. But I told you I just Cloroxed all of them. But you just don't know what is going to be in the suitcase. You could have what are those little things that are in Arizona? Oh, begins with an S. I can't think of it, but that's just giving you some suggestions from somebody who was traveling all the time for work, that you never know.
That is a very valuable tip.
Certainly is. Thank you. Thank you.
I can definitely see why now your suitcases is some of the cleanest. Well, I'm not sure in the area.
And the most Clorexed.
Yes, definitely. Yes. And by the way, everything that goes in the suitcase is in its own bag.
Wow, plastic little zipper bags.
I try not to do plastic because of plastic, but everything's in a bag. And if it's not in a bag, let's say, for example, it's clothing, it's workout stuff, I will not put that on my body. It has to go into the wash. And anything I have from a trip that has to be dry cleaned will not even come into the house. It will be in the, I put it in the car, put it in the, whatever it is, and it goes to the dry cleaner. Not coming in. And whatever I'm wearing on the plane comes off as soon as I get back. Done. Because it's filled with germs. You see why I'm alone? Are you getting it? Is it all starting to sink in now?
Wow, I can see that there's a few things that life has taught you that brought on certain behavior trends.
Exactly. Yep, this is it. You can't make this stuff up. So
you can't. This is very true. True story.
Yeah.
Well, it's been another fun show. And Janetta, thank you for staying up late with us. And Mariska, thank you for being bright-eyed early with us. And our other panelists are missing fun shows. So
definitely.
We're wishing them the best wherever they are. And we look forward to seeing them when they come back.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully they can then tell us some travel stories.
Yeah,
this is true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
So I'm going to spotlight you, Mariska, and put up your banner. What's the best way for people to reach you, and who should reach out?
Okay, best way to reach me is via my email. Email is mariska@journey2discover.com. Alternatively, you can also reach out via LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn, you can just write me a little message and say, hey, saw you on USA Global TV, would love to connect, and we can do so. Other ways of getting in touch is via my website, which is www, of course, .journey2discover.com, and I would love to hear from you. And if you do know of, or maybe are, a person that is in a specialist field looking into going into leadership, or a leader moving up in your leadership, do get in touch.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Janetta, how about you?
Well, you can get hold of me on two websites. The one is theepiphanyprocess.com, and the other is worldjenniesday.com, depending on what it is you'd like to reach out to me on. If it's to start new internal conversations with yourself that are inspired and focused and clear and certain, that catch on when you're talking to other people so that they become the same, clear and focused in responding to you, then that's the epiphany process. If you'd like to talk about matters of World Jenny's Day, either helping us with the day or performing on the day, which is the 10th of October here on USA Global TV and radio, or how to get to watch on that day, then it's worldjenniesday.com. But for any of those, you can get hold of me by email at Jenetta, JENETTA, at theepiphanyprocess.com, or you can WhatsApp me at +44, which is UK, by the way, 777 423 0464.
Wow, said with such force. I love it.
Mhm.
And for all of you out there, beware of the knuckle bag. You cannot travel with it. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
The knuckle bag lady.
Well, thank you again. We will see you next week, same time, same channel. Please do subscribe to USA Global TV and Radio. And I will be back tomorrow with a full day of shows. So
Ooh.
see you all then. Woo! Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.